from Taiwan, I'm Eric Gao with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. President Tsai is off on a 4-day visit to Eswatini, Taiwan's only official ally in Africa. TaiwanPlus reporter Ed Moon is traveling with Tsai and sends this report from Taoyuan Airport.
It's early morning here in Taipei, and you can see behind me is the jet that President Tsai in just a few hours will be boarding on what will be her 9th visit abroad since she took office in 2016. Now today she will be visiting the Kingdom of Eswatini, which is Taiwan's only remaining diplomatic ally in Africa. And while Tsai has worked tirelessly to try and expand Taiwan's reputation abroad and has had a lot of success in raising awareness in the West and in Europe, what she has failed to do is hung on to a lot of the diplomatic allies that Taiwan had when she first took office. So this is really being seen as a test of her ability to project Taiwan's influence in Africa, or what remaining influence it has, at a time when China, which has been expanding massively its presence in Africa for projects like the Belt and Road Initiative, is constantly trying to poach Taiwan's remaining diplomatic allies. During the trip, she's going to be celebrating what will be 55 years of relations with between the Kingdom of Eswatini and Taiwan. She'll also be visiting a National Taiwan University Hospital medical team, which has been working over there, and basically trying to project, that Taiwan still has an important role to play in Africa.
这趟4天的行程，我们设下的2个目标，一个是同庆两国邦谊，第二个是促进永续合作。斯瓦蒂尼王国是我们在非洲坚实的友邦。
And stay tuned to TaiwanPlus for more coverage of President Tsai's trip to Eswatini. We'll be covering her every step of the way during the 3-day tour.
That was Ed Moon and John Su reporting from Taoyuan International Airport. People here in Taiwan are cleaning up after Typhoon Hikeway, which hit the country over the weekend. But while roads closed by the landslides are being reopened and houses are being repaired, the losses that some farmers have seen may prove harder to recover. John Van Trieste has details.
After long hours of work, this road in Nantou has reopened. It's one of the several buried in landslides over the weekend after Typhoon Hikeway dumped heavy rain on the country. With one lane cleared, villages that had been cut off are now reconnected to the world. Now people living there can begin to assess the damage.
同了就赶快下去看路况啊，因为孩子明天要回学校上课，现在看一下，然后顺便看一下路况怎么样。
But even by late Monday, not every road had been cleared, and some people remained cut off.
通路没办法出入，应该最少10几个村民加上外劳工作者，大概应该还有30个人卡在上面。
As work crews and officials count the cost to infrastructure, farmers are taking stock of their losses. Taiwan's agriculture ministry believes close to $8 million of crops may have been damaged. Around 80% of these losses are in Taidong County on the southeast coast. Fruit growers are among the hardest hit. Pomelos, a citrus fruit popular in the autumn, were just a week from fully ripening when the storm made landfall. This farmer says he's lost the entire crop and months of work. Some farmers plan to ask the government for help, but for now, they're left to clean up ruined fields and orchards and figure out what to do next. Joseph Wu and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
In world news, leaders of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations are gathering in Indonesia's capital, Jakarta. It's the first day of the 10-member bloc's biannual summit. The group faces a number of divisive issues, like how to deal with Myanmar's deadly civil strife, as well as territorial disputes over the South China Sea. Leaders from the U.S., China, Japan, South Korea, and Australia will also be attending. To find out more about the challenges facing ASEAN, reporter Rick Lowert spoke to Hunter Marston of the Australian National University.
So this ASEAN meeting has been flagged as having a lot of thorny issues for the bloc to contend with. What are some of the issues that are driving ASEAN members apart?
Well, there are a couple major issues. The first, I would say, is the crisis in Myanmar, which ASEAN has failed to resolve amongst its members. And some of that comes down to the rotating position of special envoy, and each year sort of a new approach to the issue. So this year being Indonesia's chairmanship, Jakarta has tried to hold closed-door meetings with representatives from various sides to resolve the crisis, but has failed to do so far. A second issue is the South China Sea and competing visions of what a diplomatic solution might look like, including the code of conduct, which has been under negotiation for some years. China has been pushing hard against disputing claimants, including Vietnam, the Philippines, Malaysia, who all would like to see a stronger stance on the South China Sea. However, other members, including Cambodia and Laos, have no interest in taking a strong stand on the South China Sea.
Given that there are so many big issues for the bloc to contend with at this summit, what are your expectations to come out of the meeting?
Well, I wouldn't expect any major accomplishments. Indonesia has been pushing for the resolution or conclusion of the code of conduct in the South China Sea. So it's likely we'll see some headway there, but I wouldn't expect any headway with the Myanmar crisis. And given the empty seat left for Myanmar, which I'm seeing news of this morning, I wouldn't expect a unified position over the Myanmar crisis or any headway. Well, I think ASEAN is looking to shore up its competitive advantages in ASEAN's own economic interconnectedness and economic integration over supply chain resilience and things like electric vehicle manufacturing and critical resources, including minerals that go into the batteries that equip these electric vehicles. So ASEAN might be looking to pool knowledge and share best practices in this regard to strengthen its position and leverage with external powers.
We know that US President Joe Biden is skipping this year's summit. What do you think that means? Is this a sign of US putting less emphasis on the bloc?
I don't think the US is putting any less emphasis on the region itself, but I think there are reasons that Washington sees showing up to ASEAN as not its top priority. And that is, there are no clear deliverables for Washington to walk away with. So Joe Biden is going to the G20, which is a bigger meeting, as well as the bilateral meeting in Hanoi with Vietnam, because it is expected that the US and Vietnam will upgrade their partnership to a comprehensive strategic one. So that's a clear deliverable that Biden can take away. And I think that is reflective of the Biden administration's approach to Southeast Asia in trying to shore up bilateral relationships and partnerships with its friends in the region, and perhaps downplaying the multilateral approach.
That was reporter Rick Lauer speaking to Herman Marston of the Australian National University. Over 50,000 teachers took to the streets of Seoul on Monday, demanding better workplace protection from harassment by parents. The protest follows a series of apparent suicides by teachers in recent weeks. Many teachers believe those suicides are linked to widespread bullying and harassment from overbearing parents. In July, a 23-year-old elementary school teacher was found dead at school after describing work-related anxiety. In the past 6 years, about 100 public school teachers took their own lives in South Korea. The Education Ministry has set up a task force to look into increasing legal protection for teachers. Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan says a stalled deal that allowed Ukrainian grain to be exported to Africa could soon be revived. This comes after Erdogan met with Russian President Vladimir Putin on Monday. Russia is blockading exports of Ukrainian grain. In July, Russia quit the deal that gave safe passage to Ukrainian grain through the Black Sea. Erdogan says Turkey could process the grain and take it to market, but that Ukraine would need to take a softer stance with Russia. Global market access to Ukrainian grain is essential for tackling a global food shortage. Meanwhile, North Korean leader Kim Jongun is planning to meet with Russian President Putin later this month. The two leaders are expected to discuss North Korea supplying Russia with weapons to continue its invasion of Ukraine. Russia is running low on artillery shells, which the North could supply in return for satellite and submarine technology. It is rare for Kim Jong-un to leave North Korea. The New York Times reports that he is expected to travel by armored train to the city of Vladivostok, where the meeting will be held. The two leaders last met in 2019. Back in Taiwan, the military says it will station more soldiers on its outlying islands to address low troop numbers and boost the country's security. Jaime Ocon reports.
Taiwan's outlying islands are about to get some reinforcements. Starting next year, hundreds more military conscripts will be stationed on islands around Taiwan. The Defense Ministry says that expertise and location will play a large part in how it deploys its soldiers.
那么外离岛人员的补充是依据役男具备中高专长，或者是户籍设于外离岛，或者是志愿选填分发为主。
About 20% of Taiwan's army is deployed in the outlying islands of Penghu, Jinmen, Matsu, Dongsha, and Taiping. The other 80% is stationed on the main island. The conscripts will help support soldiers like these special forces stationed in Penghu, who play a key role as the first line of defense.
它的作用其实就是对后方发出警告，然后尽可能的要独立支撑。那这也是为什么国防部必须想要把大概明年就要先把700个义务役士兵放到外岛一个原因。
Taiwan has been facing the threat of invasion from China for decades, as Beijing seeks to bring the country under its control. Last year, the military extended the length of its mandatory service from 4 months to 1 year in an effort to boost its defenses. Part of the outlying island deployment plan involves concerns that Beijing could decide to quickly take over one of these territories, as they are very close to China. But analysts say that that's not in line with Beijing's ultimate strategy to capture Taiwan.
I think PLA is least likely to take over those islands because they would concentrate on Taiwan main island, because Taipei is still the critical center of gravity for the entire invasion.
Taiwan hopes by increasing its military presence on these smaller islands, it will make it harder for the enemy to make its way to the rest of the country. Patrick Chen and Jaime Ocon for TaiwanPlus.
A drug commonly used to lower cholesterol may also be able to help repair some traumatic brain injuries. The discovery by Taiwanese researchers could lead to new treatment options in emergency cases. Joyce Tsai reports.
Road safety has been a struggle for Taiwan. Especially in cities, cars, scooters, bikes, and pedestrians often overlap and compete for space on accident-prone streets. These contribute to the country's number of traumatic brain injuries, or TBIs. It's estimated that 650,000 people suffer from some sort of TBI each year. 100,000 of these cases are severe. Those who suffer TBIs are 4 times more likely to develop dementia, a gradual loss of cognitive abilities that has no cure. But scientists at Taiwan's Health Research Institute have new hope, found in an existing prescription drug called Probocol.
它这个是老药，它有可能可以推进这个研究，推进的比较快，可以也许比较快移动到临床，去讨论它未来可以使用的潜能。
Probocol is usually used to treat high cholesterol, but these scientists have found that when it's given to brain-damaged mice, their neural networks began to reorganize and repair. After making this discovery, the scientists conducted more tests and found that not only did damaged areas begin to heal, but that the mice's risk of cognitive diseases like dementia was greatly reduced. Still, the researchers are exercising caution. Human use of Probocol has been limited in some countries, like the US, because of its potential side effects on the heart.
如果长期使用会不会影响到这些血脂的功能？不排除这个可能性。
But the scientists are optimistic. The drug was most effective in mice when given within hours of the injury. And researchers are hoping that with more testing, it could help emergency medical services in Taiwan care for those when stakes are high. Alex Chen and Joyce Zhen for TaiwanPlus.
Animal rescue personnel in Taiwan's southern city of Tainan are working to save 2 stranded dolphins. These dolphins were spotted on separate beaches on Tuesday morning. One of them had obvious signs of injury. Onlookers called emergency responders. They have been both taken to a dolphin rescue center at a local university. Researchers there says the beachings may be related to the recent typhoon. Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Remember to download the TaiwanPlus app for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, we leave you with images from the Tango World Championship in Buenos Aires. I'm Eric Gao. Take care, and we'll see you next time.
Curada mi alma de su herida, pienso que nunca he de volver. Del amor conocí la delicia de embriagar y el placer que sentí. Tu querer